Hello again, everybody. Welcome to my trivia channel here in Yorktown, Virginia. And we've had some sad news today. Little Richard has passed away. He was 87 years old. His real name was Richard Wayne Pettiman, and you may know him as the architect of rock and roll. Chuck Berry is the father of rock and roll. And as a matter of fact, the full nickname for Little Richard is the innovator, the originator, and the architect of rock and roll. That's kind of long, isn't it? So over the years, people just shortened it to the architect of rock and roll. But those two pretty much started it, back in the day. There were some guys before that, kind of had roots and blues and that sort of thing. But those two are really, most musicians since then refer to them with a lot of respect for being the ones those two that they look up to. So, but if you ever get a chance to read a story, pretty amazing. A flamboyant guy like that. He was born in Macon, Georgia, of all places. I was born in Marietta, Georgia, by the way. But Macon, Georgia. His dad was I think a deacon in the church, and then had a club on the side, and he had like 11 or 12 siblings. I mean, if you ever get a chance to read his story, it's just one of the most amazing things. He came from poverty to be this legend, and he lived he had that cross between being part of the church and then the wild rock and roll lifestyle. So it's a very interesting story. But today's trivia question is, back in the day, I guess we're talking early 60s, Brian Epstein, the famous manager of the Beatles, contacted the promoters of Little Richard. Why did he contact them? Okay? Was it A, he wanted Little Richard to teach Paul McCartney some new piano techniques? Was it B, he wanted Little Richard to actually join the Beatles and be part of the band? Was it C, he wanted Little Richard to open for the Beatles on a tour? Or was it D, he wanted the Beatles to open on a tour for Little Richard? Okay? And as always with my questions, I'll give you a few seconds to pause, and spoiler alert, I'll give away the answer. Can you tell that I'm cutting my own hair now? Okay. I know it's not great, but what can you do? Okay, the answer was D. Yes, he contacted Little Richard and asked if the Beatles could open for him. That's how huge a star he was. Yes, I'm not kidding you. Chuck Berry and Little Richard were it. And the Beatles, it was an honor, considered an honor to open for him. And he asked if the Beatles could open, and they did. He said yes. And they played in, was it New Brighton, England, I think the name of the place, and then name of the town there, New Brighton, England. And I used to live in England, I should know that. And then Hamburg, Germany. I think some people pronounce it Hamburg, but Hamburg, Germany, where the Beatles are kind of famous for getting their start there. But they opened several tour dates with some other acts as well. But that's how big a star he was. That's how important he is to music. So, well, anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Rest in peace, Little Richard Wayne Pettiman. And we'll see you for the next question. Goodbye.